This video has been made possible by Rebusfarm, the professional render service.
Hey guys, and welcome back. Well, you know how sometimes the rules of 3D modeling regarding layout and polycount and UV and all that kind of stuff gets in the way of being creative? Well, in this video what we're going to do is we're going to disregard all that and we're just going to start modeling. We're going to do a freeform, freestyle kind of cartoony house and just see what we come up with. Okay, so let's jump in. Here we go. Okay guys, here we go. No reference, no plan, no nothing. We're just going to start to model. Okay, so I'm in my modeling menu. I'm going to take a polygon cube. I'm going to pull that out, push that down, and we're going to start from there. Okay, so I'm going to right click at a face. I'm going to hit Control E to extrude, and I'll just open a few more windows here so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to hit W to bring that up. And as we do that, I'm going to hit E to slightly rotate that and hit W and kind of move that to the side just a bit. Okay, G to repeat last command. We'll pull that up again and rotate that in the other direction. G to repeat once again. We'll pull that up once more and again rotate that in the other direction. And then we're going to check it here. That looks okay, I guess. Here as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use that to create our roof. So we're going to go to Insert Edgeloop option box. We're going to select multiple, and we're actually just going to use one. But as we do that, because we selected multiple, it will be added in the middle, exactly in the middle, and that's what we want. Okay. So we're going to close that out. I'm going to hit Q on my keyboard, select that edge right there, hit W, and pull that up. So that's going to be the initial shape for our roof. Okay, and what we can do is move that forward a little bit if you like so. Yeah, cool. And then we're going to right click, go to face, and we're going to select these two faces. We're going to hit Control E to extrude. We're going to add some thickness. Let's do 0.2. Let's try that. And then we're going to tweak the offset to, let's do a bit more than that. Let's do minus 0.5, and then we're going to hit G to repeat last command. We're going to add some thickness to that, like so. Yeah, that's fine. And then that is kind of too straight, so what we're going to do there is we're going to right click, go to vertex. We're going to hit 4 for wireframe mode. Let's drag these vertices, hit W, and just kind of push that up. And then we'll take these in the front here and just move that forward. We don't want things to be too straight. Okay, hit 5. There we go. And then what we can do is take one of these corners as well, and just to get that off there. Yeah, all right, cool. So now that we have that, what we can do next is we can, for example, add a window at this end. So we're going to right click, go to face right there, Control E to extrude. I'm going to tweak the offset, so I'm going to bring that in like so. And because of the shape, you can see that it is tilted, which is perfect. We're going to hit R, we're going to push that in like so. I'm just going to tweak the shape just a little. That looks okay. All right, we're going to hit Control E again. We're going to hit W to move that out. So that will be the beginning of our window frame. G to repeat last command. R to scale in. And we're just going to push that in like so. All right, G to repeat last command. And W to push in. Like so, and that looks to be okay. Yeah, it's fine. And what we'll do is we will we'll wait with that for now. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we are going to go to our Insert Edgeloop. We're going to set it to manual setting. and we'll add one just about there, and we'll add one here, and then we'll add one here and one there. Okay, perfect. Hit Q on our keyboard. What we're going to do is we're going to right click and go to edge. We're going to take that edge and hit Control Delete to get rid of it. We're going to right click at a face. We're going to select that face. We're going to hit Control E to extrude. Hit W to pull out slightly, not too much. G to repeat last command. We're going to tweak the offset, not too much, like so. G to repeat last command, W to push in, like that. And then what we'll do is we will hit Control E again. We'll tweak the offset once more because we want to create kind of a door segment here. And then hit G to repeat and W to push out, like so. All right. Now we want to have some sort of area, like a walk around, like a deck kind of thing. So we're going to go to, where do you go? Insert Edgeloop once again. We're on manual, that's good. And we're going to want to have that, let's see, just about there. Or I think this is better. Yeah, we'll do that right there. Okay. Hit Q on your keyboard, right click face, click and shift double click to go all the way around. We're going to hit Control E to extrude. We're going to pull that offset once again. Sorry, not the offset, the thickness. Now let's not go crazy on that. That actually looks nice. Maybe a bit more than that. Okay, and now we need a little bit of manual intervention. So what we're going to do now is we're going to right click, go to vertex. We're going to drag select these vertices, hit W and kind of push that down like so. These look okay. We'll take the ones at front here, but we don't want to select too much. So we'll do that, that, and that. Hit 5 again. Let's push that down like so. Take that corner, push that down as well. Okay, that looks right. Now we want to have some sort of chimney going on here. Let's do a window first. Okay, we'll do a window here. So we're going to right click at a face. Actually, let's right click and go to edge first. Take that, Control Delete. Then we're going to right click at a face, select that, Control E to extrude. Tweak that offset like so. Okay. G to repeat, W to push in, like this. And then we're going to go out and we're going to click and shift double click on these. Hit Control E to extrude, W to pull out. So we kind of get this frame looking here. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put in a little frame for the window. So for that, we'll take a polygon cube, pull that up and out, R to scale in. We'll have a look from, let's see, what's the best view for that? We're going to have to do it in perspective view, but that's fine. Just going to scale that way up and then make that nice and thin. Let's just move that in there. I have to zoom in, have a look at the bottom here. Select these guys. Okay, so that's where we want to be, and bring that up a little bit. Okay, we're going to take these at the top. zoom in. All right, and then we're going to right click at object mode. We're going to select that, Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, hit W, we'll bring that out a bit, and E to rotate it. And then we're going to right click at the vertex, drag select these. Let's kind of push that into where it needs to be. And you know, this is just a fun modeling project. If you want to UV and texture this and so forth, you're going to spend a lot more time on it. You're going to remove faces that you're not using. You're going to think a lot more about how to set it up for UVing. But in this case, we're just being a little bit creative here and just see what we come up with. Okay, that makes that looks interesting. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Insert Edgeloop, and we'll do one around here, which will allow us to hit 4 for wireframe mode. Right click at our vertex, take those. Yep, not that. Right click object mode. Come on. Take those, yep. And move that out. So if we hit 5, yeah, that's kind of what we got. Okay, so that looks kind of cool. All right, so let's do a chimney. For that, we'll take a polygon cylinder. We'll hit W, we'll pull that up and out. Let's hit Control A for our attribute editor. Set caps to 0. And 20 is a bit much, so let's do 8. That looks like a good starting point. We don't need the bottom cap there. Actually, we don't need the top one either. Just gonna select that and leave it. Before we move it into position, let's first create it. So we're gonna right click at our vertex. We're gonna select those, bring that down, move it over slightly, and hit E and tilt it somewhat. We're going to right click at an edge, double click on that, Control E to extrude, W to pull up, like so, G to repeat, W to pull up. That looks about right. And then we're going to put a cap on it. So for that, we're going to take one of these guys, which is called a cone. Yep. And we're going to bring that in, and then we're going to move that over. Hit Control A. We're going to set the polycount to 10. That should be enough. And let's get this guy on top there. Hit R, scale it up a bit. W to move that up. And we'll right click and go to face. Delete that face, take this guy, bring that down, and then kind of get that to where it needs to be. Maybe even tilt that a little bit, like so. That's good. We're going to select both of them. We're going to go to Mesh and Combine. And then we're going to bring it in and bring that up. Maybe scale the whole thing down a bit. Hit R, scale that down. That's a bit better. That looks to be a good position. And then we're going to right click at an edge, double click on that edge and hit E to rotate that. And again, you know, it's cutting into the geometry, and I'm aware that, you know, you shouldn't be doing that, but like I said, we're just having some fun here modeling. Okay, so let's see what we got. We got that going on there, which is fairly high up. but that's fine. What we'll do here is we'll right click and go to vertex, take that and that, and W, pull that out over here. And what we'll do is we'll put a few pillars under there. Okay, so we'll take a polygon cube, pull that out from our top view, have to zoom in for wireframe mode. We're going to hit R to scale that down, and then W to move that over to that corner. We'll set the correct height. So we're going to bring that down like so. Right click vertex, take that top part there, and let's just pull that up. Let's see what we got. Alright, so we need to bring that in and down like so. It does look a bit thick still, maybe. That's not too bad. Okay, so we're going to hit Control D to duplicate that guy. Let's move that over to that end. That's a fairly good fit, so that's okay. And then what we'll do is we'll take this, Control D to move that over. Have to zoom in. We'll move it over a bit more, and then we'll right click and go to vertex. Right click that and bring that in. Alright, let's right click at object mode, Control D to duplicate, W to move that over again. Have to zoom in. We're going to right click go to vertex and bring that up. And then we'll take these two and push that down. Alright, let's do a ground plane. Alright, there we go. We're going to hit R to scale that out like so. Then we're going to push the ground plane down a bit to where we need to be. Like that. Alright, and now one of the things that we can do is, if we like, is to add structure to the roof. Not quite sure if we're going to do that right now. Let's see, one more little thing we can do is kind of add some floor tiles or a path to the front door. So we'll take a polygon cube, we'll move that out, hit R to scale it up, and then push it way down, and then scale it in. From the top view, we're going to hit W, we're going to bring that over here. Let's have a look from perspective. Scale it down some more, W to move that down to about there. Kind of bring that in. That should be about right. Okay, and then we're going to hit Control D to duplicate. We're going to move that out like so, and then we're going to hit Shift D, Shift D, Shift D a couple of times, and just to stay in that feel, we're going to rotate a little bit. We're going to move that one a little and maybe rotate that as well. Don't make things too straight. Okay, slightly better, right? Now, a couple of things we're going to do to the walls here, just to add a certain feel to it. We're going to take a polygon cube, a W, pull that out, and what we'll do is we'll hit Control A. We'll go in and we'll do 4 by 4 by 4, which is good. And then we're going to select this guy and hit 3 to preview smooth. And that looks nice. But instead of preview smoothing it, we're going to go to mesh and smooth to actually smooth it. That's better. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit R, we're going to scale that out like so. We're going to hit B on our keyboard for soft select. Hold down B and left click and drag. Let's see if we can bring that affected area down. Looks like we got all of it. Let's see here. Right click vertex. Let's take a few vertices, hit B, there we go. So hold down B and left click and drag. And we're going to hit W and we're just going to a little bit manipulate that shape, okay? We just don't want it to look too straight, if you know what I mean. Okay. All right, once we have that, which now should look somewhat like a rock, let's bring that in and move that over right there. Have to zoom in. We're gonna push that in there and in there like so. Then we're gonna hit Control D to duplicate. Pull that up and we're gonna rotate it. So hit E to rotate, hold down J to snap it to 90 degrees. We're gonna hit W, we're gonna bring that out and over like so. And what we're basically doing here is creating cornerstones. Okay, we're going to take these two, Control D to duplicate. We're going to bring them up to the correct height. Then we're going to start to reposition them, even slightly rotate because of the angle of our wall. All right, we'll take this guy, we'll bring that out as well. And then just to finish things off, if you like, you can take this one, hit Control D, bring that up. Have to zoom in, E to rotate, and that should give us the effects that we want. Okay, now I kind of like that, so I'm gonna select this and this and this and this. I'm going to go to mesh and combine, so I can hit Control D to duplicate, W to move over to right here. I'm going to hit E to rotate it, and then we're going to hit W and we're going to start to bring that in. And then we're going to go to mesh and separate so we can place them individually. Okay, so this one we're going to hit E, and you can see that the I need to recenter the pivots here. There you go. So I'm just going to move that like so. Take this guy, modify center pivot, rotate that somewhat and bring it out. This guy, modify and center pivot. We're gonna push that one in, hit E to rotate that a little bit like so. Once again, modify center pivot, E to rotate, and W to push in. And then we got this guy up top here, modify, nope, modify center pivot, E to rotate to get it back to where it should be. Try to get it in there, angle it upward. And we're not going to be able to see that high up, so this should be good. All right, let's see, not quite there yet. Just want to add a little window here, so I'm going to go to insert edge loop, we'll add edge right there. Hit B to turn off my soft select. Right click face. Control E to extrude. Hit W to pull out. G to repeat. R to scale in. G to repeat. W to push in. And that looks all right. Yeah, I'll just borrow one of these guys here. Control D to duplicate, W to push down, and W to push out. F to zoom in. We're gonna push that in like so. And then we're going to right click at a vertex, drag select those and bring that in. And we're going to select those. And bring that in as well. And then we're going to Control D to duplicate, E to rotate. Hold down J as you snap that upwards. I'm going to right click at a vertex. Come on, right click object mode, right click vertex, hit W, bring that way up and over, and let's have it sitting correctly. All right, just gives a slightly different feel to it. So this is going to be our house, guys. Yeah, hopefully you guys had fun with this little tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know. And that said, thank you guys for watching and see you guys next time. Bye.